Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole and welcome to Monetary Makeup. Alright, if you have a fair, cool undertone like me, then you probably struggle to find bronzers that don't lean warm or orange. Now if you don't, that's great. I am definitely one of those people. So today's video is going to be all about the brand new ColourPop SuperShock Bronzers. Now here's the deal. Most of us would probably agree and already know that the SuperShock formula from ColourPop is just one of the best formulas out there. Now I know these bronzers have been out for a hot minute, but I just received my order and I'm not only going to give you my thoughts about the formula, but also the shades for someone with a fair, cool undertone. So if you were curious about the new ColourPop SuperShock bronzers and you enjoy the video while you're watching, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and let's get started right now. So let's first go over a couple of quick details about these new bronzers. Now these ColourPop SuperShock bronzers were actually released several years ago, but they were discontinued and now they're back with 6 new shades. These bronzers retail for $8 US and you get 5 grams of product. The outer packaging is very similar to the SuperShock shadows. Now one of the first things I noticed about these SuperShock bronzers is they appear to be the same size as the SuperShock blush and SuperShock highlighters. However, you actually get a little more product in the bronzers, which again come in 5 grams, whereas the blush and highlighters come in 4.2 grams. Now the 2 different shades I picked up to test out today are I'll Bet and Get Sandy. Now these are the 2 fairest shades available. Once again, I'll Bet and Get Sandy. The texture definitely feels like the iconic creamy, almost putty-like consistency. And the first shade we have here is Get Sandy. Here's a light swatch of Get Sandy. And here is I'll Bet. I'll Bet. I am going to build up these swatches more heavily, that way you can get a better sense of the depth and undertone. These bronzers do lean on the matte side. There are no shimmer or glitter particles in them. Now I do find with the SuperShock formula, it gives more of a matte, not flat look, if that makes sense. Now I was really hoping that the fairest shade Get Sandy would lean on the cool side. It does not, in my opinion. I would say both of these bronzers lean neutral and slightly warm. So that's a little disappointing. Of course, we are going to apply these to the face. Maybe they will appear a little bit more neutral on my skin, at least that's what I'm hoping. And I guess it's one of my biggest complaints from ColourPop is they really don't cater to cool tones. Now the only makeup I have on so far are my brows done and a little bit of foundation from here down. I was actually just testing out the new Benefit Gimme Brow Volumizing Pencil, so that's why I have no makeup on the forehead yet. So let's get started with the deeper shade, which is the second shade in the collection, I'll Bet. Scott Barnes, number 65. Now I've actually never used this brush before with the ColourPop SuperShock bronzer, so let's see if this ends up being a good brush. Alright, so again, I have no makeup on the forehead. So yeah, I would say the 65 brush picked up a great amount of pigment for the first dip. Let's grab a little bit more. Now I am holding my bangs up, so I apologize, but wanted you to be able to see what this shade looks like on the forehead. So I actually don't think I'll Bet is too deep for my skin tone. Now I will say I can typically get away with warmer shades on the forehead versus the cheeks, so we will apply one of each shade to the cheeks. Alright, so that was 2 dips of I'll Bet on the forehead. I actually quite like that shade on the forehead, but as I just mentioned, I can usually get away with warmer shades in that area versus the cheeks. I'm cleaning off the brush here. Next up, Get Sandy. Let's stick with this brush since it does do a great job at picking up this product. Alright, this is the shade I was most curious about. Ooh, that actually picked up a lot of pigment. I might have to wipe some off. Hold on. Now, I actually do not have my skin set with powder yet. However, I do find these SuperShock products, the face SuperShocks, they apply beautifully with or without powder. Alright, well I would say 1 dip is all I need on my fair skin tone. So no bronzer on this side, Get Sandy on the left. Let's do the same thing, and then I will dip into Isle Bet in just a second. Yeah, this brush actually picks up a lot of pigment, which I wasn't expecting with this formula. All right, so that was the shade Get Sandy on the cheekbones. All right, let's dip back into the shade Isle Bet. I'm gonna dip in with a light hand this time. And let's try and concentrate this shade more towards the back here, kind of give a more sculpted look. And I will clean this area up with my sponge in a moment. All right, so what do you guys think about adding a bit of Isle Bet on the left cheek versus just Sandy on this cheek? Let's do the same thing and get a little bit more chiseled effect with Isle Bet. Just going to dab my nose here, not really contouring, just adding a little bit of color. I'm going to take my damp sponge and just clean this up a bit. So before I clean this up, can you guys see how this is leaning a little bit orange on my skin tone? All right, so before I give you my final thoughts, let me move my bangs out of the way. That way you can see the shade Isle Bet and both Get Sandy and Isle Bet on the cheekbones one last time. All right, so let's talk about these ColourPop SuperShock Bronzers. You know, this SuperShock formula, it is so blendable, so creamy, and I have oily and dehydrated skin, and I find it lasts all day on my oily skin, but doesn't emphasize any of my dehydrated parts. Now, can I get away with both of these shades as a bronzer? Yes. However, do they lean more orange and more warm than I'd like? Also yes. Now, if you have a fair, cool undertone like me, and you have not picked up these bronzers yet, and you were curious about which shade to pick up, I would actually recommend the second shade, which is this one right here, Isle Bet. Even though it is a little bit deeper than Get Sandy, I feel like it just has a slightly less orange undertone. So that is unfortunate that, once again, ColourPop does not cater to cool tones. You know, I would really love to see them expand their shade range one day. So overall, absolutely love this formula, which I expected, but unfortunately, these bronzers are just a little bit too warm and orange for my liking. So let me know down below, have you guys picked up these new ColourPop SuperShock bronzers? If you did and you tested them out, let us know what shade you liked, how they worked out on your skin. Let us know all your thoughts down below. All right, you guys, well, I am not even going to finish up the rest of my makeup since today was just about the bronzers. I do hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye, guys.